show me in any policy of the EFF where I say Africans must not have documents. The reason why you are not catching these Mozambicans who are stealing cars is because of that gate. But once we all belong to one continent, everybody will be having a passport of that continent. Everyone. Which means you can be located somewhere. We'll find you. Everybody. So what is your problem? And there is some level of madness, Prof, where we've got a gate called a border. It's a gate, but there's no fence. Just imagine a person going to his house. He has installed a gate, and there's no fence. He opens that gate and closes it, and not just close it, lock it. There's no fence. No, anyone who says there is a fence is lying. There's no fence. These are artificial. So we need to industrialize. We need to electrify the whole continent. We can get ESCOM to electrify the whole continent. And the whole continent pays us for electricity. Because ESCOM has got the necessary capacity to can electrify the whole continent. Don't tell me about these man-made problems, which can be resolved by capacity only. So you have to now use the minerals of the continent in the continent. So if we are good with giving them electricity, another country will be good at giving us this. And then imagine us alone, Prof, with Zimbabwe. We account for not less than 85% of the platinum. Then the next biggest country who has platinum is Russia. So if we bring Russia, then we are now at 90% owners of platinum. Why can't we decide the price of platinum? Because we're the owners of platinum. It can only be done if the continent is together. DRC is in crisis today, and it will never be resolved because of its minerals. Those people destabilizes that country so that they can take the minerals in that country without paying taxes because there is no proper government. When we say one continent, all of that, those are the people who get threatened that no, what's going to happen to this thing that we're doing? So as students of decoloniality, you should know how the borders came about. And you can't say you don't support apartheid and colonialism and support the things that made us to be divided the way we are.
Economic freedom fighters have approached the Constitutional Court in a bid to revive Parliament's Section 89 impeachment process against President Cyril Ramaphosa. That's over the Phala matter. Now, the party argues that a Western Cape High Court order halting the proceedings undermines Parliament's constitutional oversight role. As the impeachment committee meets today to continue its preparations, we unpack the latest legal developments with EFF Deputy President Godrich Gadi. Mr. Gadi, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate you joining us here on the AM Report as well. One of the issues perhaps that could be at play here is the key concern around the impeachment committee being able to hold the president to account. And one wonders whether it might be delayed even further if, of course, things don't go well in September, because that can be appealed until it goes to the Constitutional Court as well. So let's just talk about the constitutional or procedural flaw that you are contesting here.
A very good morning to you, my brother, and to our viewers. The issue here is that the High Court in the Western Cape ordinarily did not have competency and jurisdiction to entertain the review, the interdict application by President Ramaphosa, because orders of Constitutional Court are subject to its jurisdiction. And if President Ramaphosa wanted to interdict the Constitution, the order of the Constitutional Court, he should have approached the Constitutional Court directly. And that is what the EFF will be arguing in the Constitutional Court.
Yeah, access to the court. My apologies. Direct access, though, to the Concord, that's often only given in very specific circumstances. Do you believe that you would be able to get that direct access?
One of the specific instances is wherein it is the order of the Constitutional Court that is being challenged, and it is only the Constitutional Court that is to entertain any matter that has got to do with its order and its implication and how it should be effected.
Yeah, so the hope then is that because you then have direct access, if you get that this will then be able to be argued in that sense. Why do you believe, though, that the Concord will side with you in this regard? Because one thing is that it went to the Western Cape High Court because perhaps that's where it all began in many ways. And they will make a ruling themselves on the panel report and a review of that panel report in September too. Some might say, why not wait for that?
As a matter of fact, the Constitutional Court has expressed itself somehow in part of the matters before it on the Palapala case. However, the fact of the matter here is that a court order interdicting a parliamentary executive oversight over the executive is a dangerous precedent that is capable of being abused by many other ministers to stop accountability by the portfolio committees of parliament. That will be the argument of the EFF. And we will argue that by its very nature, the parliamentary process is investigative in its nature and is subject to public scrutiny and cannot be said to be harmful. It is not different from interdicting SAPS or NPA from investigating of an alleged crime or a prosecution where there's prima facie evidence. And we will bring it to the attention of the Constitutional Court and argue as such. A parliamentary oversight process is preliminary and may remove the dark cloud and exonerate the president. All what we see in President Ramaphosa is no different from the Stalingrad defense akin to the Zuma Amstel criminal case of almost 20 years to date. It is typical of President Ramaphosa to want to consider how $1 million foreign exchange became a currency of trade for buffaloes, like he did with the concealment of the CR-17 list of donors that made him the president of the country. He's used to evading scrutiny, typical of the ANC government. He acts not different from the public protector Nkandla Gate, where parliament was abused to conclude that a swimming pool was a fire pool, and the courts found parliament delinquent in its discharge of duties, including second-guessing the public protector report, which Zuma delayed or failed, as Ramaphosa did, to take on review.
Yeah. You also have other opposition parties that you're standing with regards to this, the likes of the ATM as well, in seeking direct access. How do you plan to maybe coordinate or even distinguish your own legal strategy in this regard, or is it going to have to be a combined effort here?
We have approached a court for an order that declares the EFF as a third applicant and no longer as a fourth or fifth respondent. We do not intend to be a respondent in the matter as cited by the ATM. We are getting into the approaching the court to request for a consent to be considered as applicant, rather than to go through the long way of application for joinder and the application to be an applicant. Our founding affidavit serves both purposes for the consent of the court to be recognized as applicant, and also as a founding affidavit and an answering affidavit to the current applicants who are in court, the ATM.
If your appeal was to be successful, would this process, do you believe, meaningfully advance accountability? Or would it actually just simply prolong political uncertainty, I think, a little bit further?
The horse has bolted, my brother. The process has started. All what President Ramaphosa seeks to delay is the eventuality. And he knew very well, because President Ramaphosa is no ordinary litigant, is a law graduate of the University of Limpopo. He should have known better that his delay in reviewing the panel's report and taking advantage of the delinquent parliament, abusing the majority of parliament, and trying to argue that it was moot and he could not review it, is shenanigans that will not see the light of the day in our judiciary. And that will be our argument in the Constitutional Court for the purpose of the interdict and even for the review. And he is not going to pass through the Constitutional Court in this matter. And it's a matter of delaying the eventuality. September in any way is around the corner, but we need to bring certainty to the law and politics of this country.
Yeah. What happens, though, in September if that ruling is unfavorable for particularly yourselves as Parliament and, of course, as the EFF? Would you be prepared to escalate the matter all the way to the Constitutional Court? And even if that prolongs the process for months, if not maybe even years?
It is the way to go. Unfortunately, we will be in court with him on the 1st and the 2nd or 2nd and 3rd of September in the Western High Court in the main application, in the event that the Constitutional Court is not with us and the ATM in the appeal of the interdict. Ordinarily, an interdict is not appealable, but if it has got the impact of finality, it can be appealed. Hence, we are approaching the Constitutional Court to say the Western Cape High Court did not have jurisdiction. Only the Constitutional Court has got jurisdiction in its own orders, and no any other court, a core or a lower courts can actually have jurisdiction and competence to entertain a challenge of decisions of the Constitutional Court. It will be unprecedented, it will be unheard of, it has never happened before, and we have to test the waters for what President Ramaphosa has put the country and the judiciary in, just like he did with the CR17 list of donors who gave him a 1 billion rand to win the presidency of the ANC and the presidency of the country.
All right, well, Mr. Godrich Gadi, the EFF's Deputy President, thank you so much for the time this morning.
Is the term xenophobic or Afrophobia reserved for South Africa alone? Many Africans come to our country because South Africa provides hope for better tomorrow to many African brothers and sisters. However, it can't be our responsibility alone to provide solutions to all the hardships confronting the African continent. Moreover, we have many soccer players from our sister countries playing for South African teams in our league. The academic sector is dominated by academics from our continent. There are no issues with these professionals because they are here legally. Despite this, the government Thank you. Despite this, the government of the Republic of South Africa does not support any violence and intimidation directed to our fellow South African brothers and sisters, despite the legal status in this country. The law enforcement agencies of our country are alert, vigilant, and capable of dealing with this challenge. Your Excellency, Mr. President, the Constitution of our country allows citizens to engage in peaceful protests against anything that they might not be happy with. This right is also enjoyed by our fellow African citizens residing in this country despite their legal status. It is for this reason that we have several civil society organizations embarking on protests to express their unhappiness about the issues of illegal immigrants in this country. If truth be told, Mr. President, except for a few incidents, most of the protesters have been legally peaceful. This includes hundreds of protests on the 30th of June, which was set to be deadline date for the illegal immigrants in this country. The government of the Republic of South Africa deployed its resources to ensure that all protesters were conducted peacefully in accordance with the Constitution processes.
No.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, honourable members of Parliament, as I conclude,
هدوء في القاعة. أعطيت وقت إضافي لأننا التزمنا قبل. Excuse.
I have given him additional time.
For the past 3 weeks, fellow honourable members have been hosted in Johannesburg, South Africa. And not a single day, whether in committees or plenaries, have we heard concerns raised about their safety, intimidation, or victimization of our fellow brothers and sisters from neighboring countries. The current challenges, like all the other challenges that confront us in the past, will surely pass. I must hasten to add that this House failed to heed the advice of the former Pan African Parliament President, Honorable Roger Nkodo, to allow South Africa to make a presentation before this House debated this morning the issue of ongoing protests against illegal migrants. This challenge is not only unique to the Republic of South Africa, but is a continental and global challenge. Your Excellencies, like many developing countries, the South African economy is not growing at the rate it should grow to meet citizens' expectations. In fact, the economic stagnation that the developing countries like ours are confronted with has led to some sister countries like Ghana to pass laws such as Ghana Investment Promotion Center Act, which reserves certain economic activities for Ghanaians and Ghanaian-owned enterprises. Yet those citizens come to South Africa to engage in the same business activities that is exclusively reserved for them in their own country. Like Ghana, South Africa has a responsibility to protect the economic interests of its citizens.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to News with Innocent, your trusted destination for breaking news, politics, and current affairs across South Africa. Today's story could become one of the biggest political developments in recent months. The economic freedom fighters, popularly known as the EFF, have taken another legal step by approaching South Africa's constitutional court over the controversial Phala matter. The opposition party believes Parliament's handling of the issue should be reviewed, raising fresh debate about accountability and whether impeachment-related questions should be revisited. Could this change South Africa's political landscape? Or is this simply another legal challenge that will take months before any decision is reached? Stay with me as we explain everything in simple terms. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. President Ramaphosa has consistently denied any wrongdoing. He has repeatedly stated that the money came from the lawful sale of game animals and that he has complied with the law. Several official investigations have examined aspects of the matter over time, leading to differing legal and political conclusions. Despite this, the issue has remained politically significant. The EFF argues that constitutional issues surrounding Parliament's handling of the matter remain unresolved. According to the party, the Constitutional Court should examine whether constitutional obligations relating to accountability and oversight were properly fulfilled. This application does not mean the president has been impeached, nor does it mean the court has ruled in favor of the EFF. At this stage, the court must first decide whether to hear the matter and then, if it does, consider the legal arguments presented by all parties. The Phala matter continues to generate political and legal debate. The EFF's Constitutional Court application has once again placed the issue in the national spotlight. Whether the court agrees to hear the matter or not, its next steps could shape future discussions about accountability and constitutional governance in South Africa. Now it's your turn. Do you believe the Constitutional Court should hear this case? Share your respectful opinion in the comments. If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thank you for